Good morning everyone. How are you all students? Yes. First of all, let's recall whatever we have studied yesterday. I know you people are finding some difficulty in learning about the chemical properties. Beta, you need to pay little more attention towards it because right now you people are making the base of chemistry. If your ions, valency, these basic terms will get clear na, about the reaction, the basic reactions will get clear. You will definitely not found any type of problem in your further classes. Okay, that's why pay little more attention towards it. Okay, now let's recall whatever we have studied yesterday. Yes, we have studied about the reaction of metals as well as non-metals with water. And one more thing that we have studied yesterday, that is reaction of non-metals with air, or we can say with oxygen. Okay, both are having same meaning, whether we are talking about the reaction with air or with the reaction of oxygen. Okay, yes. Now students, see, while reacting non-metals with oxygen, non-metallic oxides are formed, like sulfur dioxide, like carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. As these all are sulfur, nitrogen, carbon, they all are non-metals, and when they are reacting with oxygen, they are forming non-metallic oxides. Okay students, now one more thing that we have done yesterday about it is that the non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. The proof of their acidity is the formation of acid rain in the atmosphere, because due to the presence of oxygen in the air, in the atmosphere, and when the pollutants like sulfur, carbon are released in the atmosphere, what will happen? They get combined, carbon and oxygen combine and forming carbon dioxide, and sulfur, oxygen, sulfur dioxide. So it means these all are making our atmosphere pollutant. They all are disturbing the composition of our atmosphere. And the next thing is the acid rain. The formation of acid rain is the proof for this, isn't it? You people are familiar with the term acid rain? I don't think so. I need to remember, I need to recall it, isn't it? No. Yes students, this much part we have done yesterday. After that we have studied that metals are reacting with water. Yes, metals are reacting with water, although metals are not highly reactive with water, as we used one term over there, that is alkali metals are vigorously react with water. Yes, alkali metals, the metals which are present in the first row of the periodic table, okay, though are known as alkali metals. And when they react with water, they are forming what? They are forming hydroxides, and hydrogen gas is liberating. See, when sodium reacts with water, sodium hydroxide is formed. Potassium reacts with water, potassium hydroxide will form. Similarly, some next group metals are also react with water and forming hydroxide, but they are little less reactive than the alkali metals. Okay, and this second group metals are magnesium, calcium. Yes, they are also reacting both with water and forming hydroxides. When calcium reacts with water, forming calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice is the formula of calcium hydroxide. Okay students, now after that we have studied about few less reactive metals, that is zinc, aluminium, that they are forming only oxides when react with water, because to reach up to the level of hydroxide need more reactivity, and they are not that much reactive so that they can form a hydroxide. Okay, they are less reactive metals. Clear everyone? And the next thing which we have studied about it was that non-metals are not so reactive with the water. Non-metals are not reacting with water. Okay students, now let's begin with the next chemical property, that is reaction of metals with acids. Yes, Now today we are going to study this chemical property. Metals react with acids to form salts and liberates hydrogen gas. Again students, when metals are reacting with acids, you all know a number of names of different acids that you have studied in your previous class also. Hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, carbonic acid, etc. Although carbonic acid is very light acid, it is not reacting with everything. But hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid are the most common acids which are reacting with everything which we are considering actually. Okay, that's why I'm going to show you these two acids reacting with different metals. Okay students, so let us take this example first. Reaction of sodium with dilute hydrochloric acid. Students, you must have think that why we are considering every time sodium, potassium, because students, these are the highly reactive metals and show a proper reaction with everything because they react vigorously with different substances, whether they are acids, whether it is air, whether it is water. Okay students, that's why we are considering these acids, these metals. Otherwise other metals are, it is quite difficult to show the reaction of other metals with this much of clarity. Okay students, now here sodium metal gives sodium chloride. See students, as you all know that sodium chloride is a salt, and when metals are reacting with acids then salt is formed. And what is liberating? Liberation is hydrogen gas. Yes, hydrogen is liberating. I think the reaction is clear to you all. Okay. In next reaction, sodium metal is reacting with dilute sulfuric acid. And what is the product which is forming? That is sodium sulfate. Yes students, Na2SO4. This is sodium sulfate. See students, in all the reactions when salt is forming, then displacement reaction takes place, as metals are more reactive than hydrogen, and they are displacing hydrogen from the sulfuric acid and forming the salt. And hydrogen gases, after separation from the compound, from the acid, separately, liberate separately. Okay students, I think it is clear to you all. Yes. After that, see, potassium is reacting with hydrochloric acid, and what is forming? Potassium chloride, and again hydrogen gas is liberating. See? Okay. In this reaction, next example, magnesium reacts with hydrochloric acid and forming what? Magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. Again hydrogen gas is liberating. Students, if aluminium will react with hydrochloric acid, then aluminium chloride will form AlCl2. The formula of aluminium chloride is AlCl2. And aluminium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium chloride, sodium chloride, these all are the example of salts. Now one student is asking, yesterday I got one question that the formula of sodium chloride is NaCl, but magnesium chloride is MgCl2, calcium chloride is MgCl2, while calcium chloride CaCl2, while potassium chloride KCl. Why? Students, this is because of the valence electrons. How many electrons they are losing, how many electrons they are giving to their partners. See students, in the formula of potassium chloride, potassium is a compound and its partner is chloride, means chlorine. Do you know that atomic number of chlorine is 17? It means the electronic configuration is 287, means first orbital contains 2 electrons, second 8, and the third one is having 7 electrons. Means chlorine needs only 1 electrons to satisfy its outermost shell, or we can say to become stable. But magnesium is having atomic number of 12. First orbital 2 electrons, second orbital 8 electrons, and the outermost orbital contains 2 electrons. Means magnesium wants, if magnesium wants to satisfy, then magnesium have to give its 2 electrons to someone. So if chlorine needs only 1 electron, then definitely magnesium needs to combine with 2 chlorine atoms to satisfy. 1 electron of magnesium is taken by 1 chlorine, and another electron of magnesium is taken by another chlorine. It means the formula, magnesium is giving 2 electrons to chlorine. That's why chlorine is receiving 2, Cl2. Okay? And the formula is MgCl2. Similarly, in the case of potassium and sodium, they are having only 1 electron in their outermost shell, as they are having atomic number of 11 and 19. Means 281 in case of sodium and 2881 in case of potassium. Means potassium and sodium have to give only 1 electrons to their partners, that is chlorine. The partner is chlorine. So in that case, they have to establish a bond with only 1 chlorine atom, because chlorine needs only 1 electron. Its atomic number is 17. 287 needs 1 electron to satisfy its outermost shell. So that's why the formula of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, lithium chloride is LiCl, NaCl, KCl. Okay? But with magnesium and calcium, MgCl2, CaCl2. Okay, students? Now, again and again we are saying that hydrogen gas is liberating. How we can test? How we are sure that only hydrogen gas is liberating? Because students, here I am going to show you a test which shows the presence of hydrogen. But although it is not in your syllabus, but I know my curious students must have this doubt that how do we resolve this test, how do we resolve this problem that only hydrogen gas is liberating. See, here is a test. In this test tube, which is attached with the stand, this is the stand, and one test tube is fixed over here. The mouth of this test tube is covered with a cork, and this connecting test tube is there, which is transferring whatever released through this tube in this petri dish. Okay, such type of dishes are known as petri dish, or you can say any vessel. Okay, yes, here this test tube is having some magnesium metal. Okay, now this magnesium metal is reacting with what? With dilute hydrochloric acid, which is lying in this test tube. When these two things are reacting, then what will happen? The material which is formed over here is magnesium chloride, but the gas is liberating. Any gas, we don't know till now. Okay, now the gas is liberating from this test tube. Now what is our role? What we are doing? We are bringing a burning matchstick near the mouth of this opening of this test tube, this tube. Okay, and when we are bringing that burning matchstick near it, what will happen? It cause some popping sound. See, this popping sound is due to the presence of hydrogen, because whenever hydrogen gas burn, it generates some popping sound. This shows the presence of hydrogen in the reaction of magnesium and hydrochloric acid. We can test the presence of hydrogen by reacting any of the acid and metal. Okay, students? After that, your classwork. You have to do this question in your notebook, students, properly. Okay? Yes. Our question is short question number 2, that is, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution, but copper cannot displace iron from iron sulfate solution. Why? You all know that in a displacement reaction, what will happen? A highly reactive, the most reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal, isn't it? You have studied about it. Yes, I know, my students knows about it. Yes, in this question, the same answer is there. Iron displaces copper because iron is more reactive than copper, and displacement reaction takes place in which iron displaces copper and forms iron sulfate. See, whenever you are attempting any question in which you can write a reaction, chemical reaction, you should write, because it will give you bonus marks in the exam. If your written part is not that much good, then examiner will understand that the student knows the answer. That's why he is able to write the chemical reaction. That's why whenever you know the chemical reaction, you must write it down. Okay? Iron reacts with copper sulfate, and what happens? Iron sulfate will form and copper is displaced by iron from the solution. Okay, students? You have to do this question as your classwork, isn't it? Yes, after the completion of this classwork, I must tell you one thing, that you should study your reactions to understand them very well. And if you have any doubt, any query regarding this, call me. Okay, students? So, students, yes, our today's lecture is done, and I think you people are getting it. You people are understanding it properly. Yes, and one more thing which I am expecting from you all, that please go through these reactions by doing them in rough notebook. Okay? It is not your classwork, it is not your homework, but it is just for your practice, that you have to study about them by practicing. Okay, students? After the completion of this chapter, we will definitely do some chemical equation, balancing chemical equations. Okay, how to balance, and we have to do, as we are getting this much of time, so we have to do the practice of such type of extra things. Okay, and I'm expecting that you people are doing your classwork properly in your notebooks, and you will submit it on time to me. Okay, students? Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good day.